All right, everybody, let's dive in. Chapter 45. We got one more after this. 36 slides, so we'll breeze through it. Y'all should have already gone over all triage and all that, so which this is basically a refresher of that. We'll breeze through it, knock it out real quick. So the number of patients to declare an MCI does depend on the resources available. Your department will tell you what an MCI to them is. And this is when you have an MCI, you're setting up instant command, instant incident command. You'll have triage, just disaster response plan, stuff like that. And an MCI is defined as any event that places excessive demands on the personnel and equipment, and usually it's 3 or more patients. And call for help early. It's better to call for them and have them come in and not need them and disregard them than to need them and have to call after the fact and get behind the 8 ball. So NIMS, I'm not reading over this. Y'all should have already done NIMS. Again, incident management system. Y'all should already know all of that. There's a picture of a command board if you haven't seen one. Y'all should know. Remember, common terminology, no TIN codes, normal English. And remember, everything you say on the radio is being recorded. Anytime you call into dispatch, it's being recorded. If you're for a fire department and you have a chief and their call sign's Chief 1, Chief 2, Chief 3, that's how you report to them, or that's how you call them on the radio, unless they're, say they're triage officer. Well, you call triage then. If they're command, you call command. Whatever their office, their assigned title is during the incident, that's what you call them. Use the correct title. So here are the sectors. You have command, finance, logistics, operations, and planning. Operations is where you fall in with the EMS and the triage and all that. Command's usually assumed by the most experienced or senior person on the first arriving apparatus. For us, we have captains on the engine. They get there, they assume command. There's been times when I worked private EMS, I'd get there, I assume command. Out in my volunteer department, I get there and 9 times out of 10, I assume command. So if you're with somebody that's brand new as well, and it's y'all's first shift together by yourself, brand new, flip a coin or something. And once more people get there, you can do a face to face and transfer command, or transfer command over the radio, whatever. Our battalions, when they get on house fires, will assume command, or big calls. They'll check out and they'll say, but battalion 1's assuming whatever command it is. When you get there, label the command. If you're out on highway, this will be I-20 command, 509 command. If you're on a street, this will be whatever the street name is, command. Here's the responsibilities of EMS. You have triage, treatment, transport, staging, and morgue. Here's kind of how it breaks down. Y'all should already know what this stuff is. So I'm not going to dive back in over it because I'm sure y'all don't want to hear it again. But triage is to sort patients. Green, walking, yellow, red, and black. I think we'll go over that here in a minute. Primary triage, you go in, open the airway. If they're not breathing, open the airway, control life-threatening things right then, and tag them. And then when they get moved, they'll get a secondary triage. Start triage, patients 8 and older or who weigh over 100 pounds. It takes 30 seconds to do it. Respiratory status, perfusion, mental status. Patients who are walking are tagged green. Remember that. You're going to look at the respirations, like I said, the perfusion, and their mental status. Here's kind of a good little diagram of it. I think this has to be in your book, so this is a good one to know. It's a lot easier just to look at it than me try to explain it. Jumpstart pediatric triage. Again, respiratory, perfusion, mental. Salt triage, never used it. Not very familiar with it. So here's kind of what your tags look like. You'll hang this around their neck, however you can get them on their body. Treatment goes without saying, it's there to provide treatment and get them loaded to an ambulance, which staging is where you go to stage your ambulance, and then you get called in by the transport officer or whoever is in charge of bringing you up to the scene, load you, and then you leave. Communications are obviously difficult. Follow through, you might have to go back and help the hospital figure out who you brought, who you didn't bring. This is where the peer support kind of comes in. Don't assign rescuers. Like if you're in command, don't give somebody something that's out of their scope of practice. Have food and drinks for them. Allow them to talk amongst each other if they want to, and have counselors or the peer support at the incident. So disasters obviously can be natural and man-made. You want to try to plan for them. Basically practice all this stuff. We practice it, think about it in your head, kind of have a contingency, kind of know what you're going to do. But when it hits, and you follow what the people tell you to do, what your higher ups tell you to do. And if you end up being the higher up, then you know what the action plan is, and you're experienced enough that you can adapt and overcome. Y'all can read through this in your book. All right. Response to MCIs need to have a pre-planned approach and training. Use the incident command system. Remember what triage is. Know your triage color tags, that and what they are. They are on test. For sure, you'll have a question on the National Registry about that. All right, that's it for that one.